The Northern Kingdoms are once again at war. Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to the Witcher mod for Attila Total War. I believe this mod actually comes out today, so make sure to go ahead and check it out down below in the description. This mod release isn't going to be a full mod release in any sense of the word. This is simply just a little teaser to let you guys know that the mod is in development. So I think at the moment there are only 3 factions. 2 of them are a little bit more developed than the other, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. As well as that, I am also fighting against my most hated opponent, as he would call me, Pixelated Apollo. So Apollo is going to be commanding the wrinkly ball sacks of Nilfgaard right here, who aren't so wrinkly. Their armor actually looks decent right here. And then I'm going to be commanding the other faction in the game, because we've already played as Temeria in the previous video. So I'm going to be playing as Redania. I think that's how you pronounce that word. So I'm going to be playing as these guys. Someone told me in the last comments that these guys are a nasty piece of work, and you can see their general is somewhere around here. He has his own custom model as well, which I think is really, really cool. You can see the king right there. He's going to be leading them forward and getting stuck into battle. And I believe Apollo also has a special general all the way over on this side of the battlefield. I can't quite see him. Maybe that's him. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so this is the new Witcher mod for Total War Attila that is currently in development. We're also playing on a really awesome Game of Thrones map. This is the Golden Tooth, which is just really, really cool. It has this like awesome looking kind of castle up on the hill, which we thought was really, really cool. So we had to go ahead and include it. But yeah, as I said, this is still very much a massive work in progress for the mod, but I highly recommend that you check out the mod because it's really awesome, and it's always great to support modders when they do start to attempt, massive projects like this. But let's take a look at some of the units. So we'll start off by looking at my army of Redania, Redanian, however you pronounce it. I've butchered that pronunciation, but anyway, we'll continue to go forward. So on the front line, we do have some light spearmen right here. Very, very kind of, basic units, nothing too special. I've got my beautiful coat of arms there. Then on the back lines, we do have more of these longbowmen. So these guys are going to be hammering the enemy Nilfgaard infantry from range. We then also have some heavy pikemen. These guys have some awesome looking shields and are ready to get stuck in. And then finally, back here, we do have some more of my guardsmen. This is just my basic kind of high-tier swordsmen who are going to be kind of bringing up the rear. On my right flank, I have some cavalry, which are going to be, not really the strongest in the world, but they'll do their job. They'll do pretty decently. We also then have some halberds, again, positioned right here. And then finally, I think I have some really cool units. No more of my halberds. I have some really cool knight infantrymen, which I assume are like a special order or something. And I think they're all the way up this hill. No, these are just city guard. More city guard. Oh yes, these guys right here. Yeah, these guys look amazing. Look at them. The Flaming Rose Heavy Knights look absolutely awesome. Definitely my favorite unit in the entire mod, I think, so far. They look absolutely spectacular. Really, really cool stuff. So if we then go over and take a look at the Nilfgaard infantry, if you guys haven't seen my previous video, so on their front line, they're going to have just some basic Nilfgaard crossbowmen. Nothing too special. Light armor, a bit of chain, but nothing too crazy. They are just crossbowmen after all. Behind that, we do have some squire swordsmen. So these guys are basically just kind of like shock infantry, fast, nimble, and can get stuck into the flanks quite easily. Behind that, we have the heavier boys of the Nilfgaard spearmen. They actually are equipped with a pretty decent shield and some normal looking armor. You've got some padding, some coifs, a helmet, and some chain as well. And as I said, this kind of release is still very much a work in progress. So when you see tearing like this, that's obviously going to get fixed as the mod gets more and more developed. Then we have the big boys of the Nilfgaard sword infantry right here. These dudes are stuck in play and they are ready to rumble for honor and glory. Behind that, we have some longbowmen, and we also have some war dogs, which is really, really cool to see. So they're going to be unleashing the dogs of war. We also have some artillery pieces back here. It would be great if they could end up putting the trebuchets from 1212 in. I think that would be really, really cool. But you can see them advancing forward, and obviously also the invisible infantry again. Like stuff like that will get fixed. There's some minor, tearing issues and stuff like that, which will get, addressed, I'm sure, as the mod gets more and more developed. You can see the general right here as well, I think. He's looking very cool. So yeah, that's going to be basically the Nilfgaard infantry. I think there's a handful of more knights over in here, which we didn't maybe look at. You just got some normal sword infantry, and I believe there is also a lancer unit as well somewhere. I think they're on the far right-hand side here. So you have like a Lancer variant of the cavalry, which do look very, very cool. But let's just dive into the battle and we'll see who comes out on top in this engagement. So Apollo is going to be kicking this battle off by moving his crossbowman into range of my spearmen. I've set up my Redania spearmen on the front line, basically just to absorb these initial missile fire shots and also to absorb any light infantry charges, which will hopefully give my missiles the opportunity to hit him hard as he advances. So yeah, these guys are basically the sacrificial lambs, and I love the look of the units in the Witcher mod. They really do look very, very gritty, very dark and dirty, which I think kind of represents the Witcher very, very well. And also, in my last video, a lot of you guys did say, oh, I wonder if we'll be able to get monsters into this mod. I mean, it is like completely possible with enough work. So we'll have to see if that does, does come out and actually end up working. As I said, yeah, it is completely possible for them to get monsters in. Rise of Mordor has semi-working trolls, and they're working more and more on getting even better ones into the mod. So yeah, you definitely could have monsters. It just obviously require a lot of work. And I'm sure if you guys want to help out with this mod, if you are good at 3D modeling, Attila modding, then do make sure to hit up the modder on ModDB. I'm sure he will be more than happy to have more help. I don't think he has a Discord, but as I said, I'll leave the ModDB, which is where you can download the mod in this current phase. And right now, Apollo has thrown against his light infantry into my spear wall, but my spear wall has held firm, repelling the enemy assault pretty nicely, if I do say so myself. Just taking down the last couple of his men right there. Easy kill as I repel his initial assault. But as you can see, he is getting ready to advance forward with his elite pikemen right here. These guys look scary AF, and they are advancing forward to really get stuck in against my battle line. And I feel like my infantry does a lot better with my infantry than, say, Apollo's. However, Apollo's cavalry is what scares me, and he has stacked his left flank with 2 or 4 very elite units, 2 different types of units. The Lancers on the front line, and then the melee kind of knights on the back line, which again look very, very cool. And I only have 3 units of my own horse on this flank. However, I am supporting them with some extra halberds, so I do have some units over here. And right now we're about to receive a charge as his Nilfgaard Squire infantry come flying in to my halberd line, smashing against the shields, but many of them dropping to the halberds out the front. And on the frontal assault, my halberds should do fare pretty decently against this battle line. He is also slowly starting to push more men over up on the hill. He wants to obviously try and break me here. However, I do have some of my strongest units up this ridge line, so I'm going to be doing pretty decently at repelling him. And for some reason, I think it's something to do with the map, Apollo did capture this victory point. I don't really know how, but yeah, he's infiltrated into my inner defenses and somehow secured that point. He is just starting to now break my front line. However, I am not going down without a fight. And honestly, these Redania light spearmen are doing amazing work, considering they are just simply light spearmen. They're holding the line. They're letting my archers shoot his pikemen. And they're doing a very, very good job. Something also I should mention as well is this mod isn't really balanced at all at the moment. As I said, still very much a work in progress. This is the first little teaser build from the mod itself. So the main focus of the mod is just to get units and armor and stuff like that in, and then balancing and kind of, retrofitting units and stuff like that will come a lot later on for sure. And here we go, my pikemen and my spearmen are now pushing against Apollo's pikemen. Probably not going to fare too well for me, however, they are still advancing. As Apollo brings more men over, he was also about to get a really nice rear charge on one of my units that must have overextended, or maybe he just kind of filtered through this gap, and getting into the back is pretty nice for him. There you can see my light spearmen are basically completely removed from this battle now. Now it's going to come up to my heavier front line of my pikemen, my Redania pikemen, who are very much well versed. And my archers are having a field day right now. They're short, kind of more composite bows. And they also still have a nice little rear guard of these guardsmen who will be advanced forward when the time comes, maybe looking to reinforce. And as soon as I start to move my halberds, Apollo immediately starts to jump into action with his lancers. These guys pushing forward, looking for any opportunity. And I mean, my god, look how cool that looks. That looks absolutely amazing. If we just pause that right now, that's yeah, it's a very, very, very cool screenshot like that. That's definitely the thumbnail as the as the units push forward. Oh baby, that's perfect. But right now, Apollo's cavalry is going to be pushing up, and I don't really have much hope that mine will be able to win this one. However, I do get a really nice charge off. Apollo was a bit stationary there, and I also managed to get my spearmen stuck in to the Nilfgaard heavy shock infantry or cavalry. But the constant bombardment of the artillery is definitely softening up my lines, so it is imperative that I do win this cavalry engagement. So I'm getting more halberds over here as well. However, Apollo is about to get a perfect charge into my flank right there, literally ripping me apart. Oh my god, this unit is just carry on going. They're like, screw this unit, we're going to keep on diving into the abyss. Look at them dive deep. This unit of swordsmen just diving into 3-4 units of my front line, and now the fire arrows are also coming in looking for blood. Apollo's cavalry vote is superior to mine. He's got 2 units of his against 1 of mine right now. Absolutely brutal stuff. And his artillery, you can see, is finding its mark on my pikes as they have to close formation once again to survive. I have though managed to surround this unit of Nilfgaard heavy pikes here. However, once again, his men managed to break mine and send them flying. He is also reinforcing with more of his heavier infantry, looking to try and bring down my halberds. The halberds are very, very strong from the front. They're not exactly an easy force to bring down. So, yeah, very, very impressive infantry unit with decent stats that can keep my line at bay. Saying of which, you can see that my my kind of pretty light horsemen are being ripped away by Apollo's. He has also now committed another unit of Nilfgaard sword infantry to the fight as well. So you can really start to see kind of just this fight not going too well for me on the flanks. However, elsewhere, I would say things are looking pretty decent. You know, the front line is, there's big gaps in Apollo's front line, which obviously I can exploit. With my pikemen, I can get pushed up. I'm starting to move up my guardsmen over to this right-hand side now, because I realize that the cavalry fight is probably going to be going south for me and not in my favor. So I decided to go ahead and throw 2 units of my guardsmen over to his flank, basically just to try and protect my archers and keep them alive as best as I can, whilst the rest of the fight does go on. Apollo has now brought up his main line of these Nilfgaard bowmen as well, and they're just obviously going to be focusing down my pikemen. And even with these huge tower shields and kite shields, you can see the artillery and constant missile fire is picking them off bit by bit, and I am losing many a man. Over on this side, you can see my infantry line doing pretty decently against Apollo's and the men from Nilfgaard. And like that, I decide that it's time to advance down the hill. Victory is close at hand, I feel. Obviously, the flanks are looking pretty south, so I need to bring these guys off the hill. So I actually decided to start bringing down my Flaming Rose Heavy Knights and my other infantry. I mean, just look at these guys. They look so goddamn good. Love the shields on these bad boys. Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to bring these guys down in the hopes that I can try and rally up the formation, because as you can see, Apollo's Knights are now running amok in my front line. He's getting his lancers and other infantry just stuck in against my swordsmen, rear charging me and just causing me a lot of issues. I'm going to be able to catch kind of one of his units and slow him down here, but once again, my light horse is going to be no match for his heavy knights whatsoever. And you can see also the heavy missile fire and the artillery has now broken a large portion of my missiles. However, this left flank is going pretty well, and if I can get more men down off the hill, the quicker we do that, the better it's going to be for my front line. But yeah, it's all about this right flank. As soon as my units of cavalry over on this side break, it's going to be absolutely awful, because it's going to free up 2 full units of cavalry for Apollo just to run, just run over my back line, rear charge my pikemen, and whatever else he does have in mind. So this flank breaking on the left-hand side is going to be catastrophic. My center has also been pretty beaten up, honestly, from just the sheer amount of missile fire coming in. However, you can see, look at that, many of his units are now breaking. I've managed to completely break his units right here, which is going to free up a lot more of my infantry. Even running against his archer fire, they can now start to come in the flank. So Apollo's kind of won his left flank, I've kind of won his right flank, and now I'm coming down off this hill as well. We're looking pretty good as we charge in under heavy missile fire against the Nilfgaard archers. One more volley coming in, maybe, we'll have to see. No, luckily I managed to get in there and just start hammering his front line. And these archers honestly should not be able to survive much, but he does unleash the dogs of war right into my back. and they're going to be able to start enveloping me. However, I've got more infantry over on this side coming down, and obviously them flaming Knights of the Rose are quickly, getting down here. I've got a battalion of my infantry right there, the City's Watch, moving forward along with another unit of bowmen, and obviously my stronger infantry as well, as I continue to fight the dogs of war. And luckily, somehow, I managed to repel a unit of his cavalry right there. He did manage to rear charge this unit of infantry right in my back line. But over on this side, somehow this unit of light horse is still holding against Apollo's heavier horse, which I don't really know how they've managed to stick around this long, but I'm definitely counting my lucky stars, because if this unit broke, it would not look good. However, Apollo has now brought up another unit of his Nilfgaard infantry, and these guys are going to be coming in very, very fast. I mean, just look at that. Oh my god. Whew. Whew. The castle in the distance looks so nice. And as soon as these guys come in, I think, yeah, we will end up breaking. As soon as they rear charge, it will be over. But Apollo is starting to crash it around with his infantry, and you can definitely see the heavier, superior infantry that he has coming into play so far in this battle. He's got another battalion moving around here as well. A marching column looks so goddamn cool. And they're going to go flying into the rear of my spearmen, bringing them down, cutting them down to size, and yeah, immediately breaking. That opens up such a huge gap for him to come flying through if he wants to. However, my knights are now out of the castle and into the combat. You can see we have one unit of the Flaming Rose Knights charging forward to help secure this flank, so I can basically bring everything over from this flank onto my other one. They'll be cutting through these guys who are routed and keeping on going and trying to break down these Nilfgaard spearmen on the flank. Charging them right now, getting stuck in. Finally, we get to see the strength of the Flaming Rose Heavy Knights. And this unit is pretty surrounded, so I can't imagine the Nilfgaard spearmen will be, really staying around, and just like that, they are broken. Now that's going to be huge for this battle, because it's going to allow me to completely reorganize my left flank, bring these guys all the way around, because as you can see, Apollo is kind of doing what I've done to him on his flanks. We've kind of rotated flanks. He's dominating me on this side, and I'm doing the same to him over on the other one. Luckily for me, though, I've got plenty of reinforcements. I've also managed to tie down the Nilfgaard general here as well, with some of my Knights of the Flaming Rose. And they're doing a pretty decent job, honestly. This soldier did get a slice to the shoulder. But he's going to try and fight back and try and rip these guys from their horses, from their saddles. And try and bring down, because if we can kill the Nilfgaard general here, then that's going to be absolutely massive for the battle. And that's going to obviously cause shockwaves, as it does seem like I'm managing to slowly start to get this flank under control. However, Apollo just hit a beautiful rear charge right into the back of my pikemen, which is going to drop their numbers very, very quickly. He also has got plenty of infantry coming around here as well. So I think right now his plan is to kind of fall back into this position, try and form up a battle line and go forward. Because as you can see, I've managed to do exactly what he's doing to me, to him over on this side, as the City Watch are now coming in, just trying to pin these pikemen into place and take them down, and we are getting pretty close to doing so. However, these pikemen are not an easy foe to bring down. They have pretty high morale, and they'll keep their bodies on the battlefield for as long as possible. And there we go, the general goes down, which is going to immediately send shockwaves throughout that flank. I've got my other infantry pouring in to this battle, the arrow fire coming in, and that's going to kind of spell the end of the battle for Apollo. He still has a few infantrymen scattered around the battlefield, but honestly, not enough. His cavalry are going to be doing anything they can to try and turn the tide of this battle, but once again, it's simply just not going to be enough, and now my forces are going to be forming up, getting closer to the last remnants of Apollo's formation and bringing him down. So yeah, absolutely awesome. It's so great to see a Witcher mod in development. I know there is also a Witcher mod for Medieval 2 as well, which is pretty exciting. Also, I want to address a few things as well, because I've got a load of comments in my last video saying, oh, why don't I use this game? Why don't I use Warhammer? It would make much more sense for a monster faction if I use Warhammer. You can't mod Warhammer like that. Unfortunately, Warhammer has a much kind of tighter modding capability. Attila, you can kind of do what you want with the game. It's just quite slow and arduous to do so. So Attila definitely has the most potential for a modded Total War, besides maybe Shogun 2. But Shogun 2 is quite old and outdated now to an extent, I would say. So Attila's kind of like the next best opportunity. Since then, you know, Three Kingdoms, you can't really mod at all. You know, can't really do much with Three Kingdoms, and you can't really do anything with Warhammer 2 without using pre-in-game assets and stuff. So Warhammer is, like, unfortunately very unmoddable for any other IP. I'm sure you could do it, but there just aren't the tools, and I don't think anyone really wants to go down that rabbit hole of trying to. So yeah, Attila is kind of the best thing we've got, which is unfortunate. It'd be amazing if we had more tools to mod the more modern games, but we just don't. Even Attila is very, you know, it has a lot of broken mod tools, and the modders just kind of make do and spend, you know, a lot longer doing stuff that would probably take 10 minutes in Medieval 2, but that is the way of the world, unfortunately. So make sure to go over to the ModDB page, check out the mod, and also go and show some love to the creator. Obviously, he's putting a lot of time into getting to this mod into the game, and hopefully we'll continue to see this one developed, which I'm really, really looking forward to. So make sure to drop a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Obviously, check out my boy Apollo, and I'll see you guys in the next one.